Dear spectators of the human tragedy. In this dimly lit room, shadows dance like phantoms of the past, twisting and turning around the walls that once echoed with laughter. Oh, how their laughter used to fill the air. It was a cruel symphony, each note a dagger aimed straight at the heart of my struggle. They laughed, didn't they? They reveled in the spectacle of my despair, their faces painted with arrogance, their eyes gleaming with a twisted delight as they watched me stumble and fall. It was as if my pain was their entertainment, a circus act where I was the unwilling clown, juggled by the very hands that once held me down. But where are they now? The tables have turned, my friend. The laughter that once rang through the corridors of my mind has been replaced by a haunting silence. Their scorn has morphed into suffocated cries of despair, echoes of their own failed grandeur. They thought power was a game, a toy to wield with ease. But power is a fickle mistress, and she has a way of revealing the truth. Now, as they drown in their own despair, I find myself standing on the precipice of a new reality, a reality shaped by the very struggles they once mocked. It's a bitter irony, isn't it? I was the outcast, the one they pushed into the shadows, where vulnerability became my only companion. But in that solitude, I found strength. I learned to embrace the darkness, to weave it into the fabric of my being. I became familiar with the void, and in that emptiness, I discovered a power they could never grasp. They wore their masks of superiority, cloaked in ignorance, oblivious to the cracks forming beneath the surface. They thought their laughter shielded them from the truth, but the truth is relentless. It claws at you, gnaws at your insides, until there's nothing left but the raw, naked reality of your own despair. Look at them now, those who once stood tall, basking in the glow of their self-righteousness. The irony of it all. Their laughter has become a distant memory, a ghost that haunts the hallways of their hollow achievements. The very scorn they cast upon me has come back to them, a vengeful specter whispering the secrets of their failures. Their joy has turned to ash, and in its place lies a desolate landscape of regret and sorrow. And here I am, the embodiment of their past ridicule, now an architect of my own fate. I have risen from the ashes of their laughter, forged in the crucible of their disdain. Their mockery was the hammer that shaped my resolve, the anvil upon which my vengeance was crafted. They thought I was broken, but I was merely waiting, lurking in the shadows, biding my time. The power dynamics have shifted, and I am the one who holds the reins now. But let's not forget the haunting echoes of their laughter. They linger, like a chilling wind that cuts through the silence. It reminds me of what I have overcome, a constant reminder of the cruelty that once reigned supreme. Yet, in this solitude, I find clarity. I see the world for what it truly is, a stage where the players wear masks, hiding their vulnerabilities behind a facade of invincibility. But the truth, dear friend, is that no mask can shield you forever. The darkness will always seep through the cracks, revealing the fragility of the human spirit. So let them laugh. Let them drown in their own despair. For in the end, it is I who will rise, a phoenix born from the ashes of their scorn, a testament to the strength found in solitude and the justice that time will bring. Their laughter is a mere whisper now, a bitter echo fading into the void, while I embrace the silence, ready to step into the light of my own making. The masks they wore, crafted with care, each one a facade concealing the rotting core of their arrogance and pride. They strutted about, cloaked in their illusions of superiority, as if the world owed them a favor, as if their laughter could drown out the truth. They adorned themselves with ignorance, believing that belittling others would somehow elevate their own worth. But beneath those shimmering exteriors lay a fragile reality, one that could shatter at the slightest touch. Every sneer, every mocking chuckle, was a brushstroke on the canvas of my despair. They painted me as the fool, the jester in their grand performance, while they reveled in the spotlight. But I see through their charade now. Their arrogance was not strength, it was a brittle shield, easily cracked under the weight of real struggle. They built their empire of scorn on the backs of the vulnerable, never realizing that their laughter was a weapon that could just as easily turn against them. Society cheered them on, a chorus of sycophants who thrived on the downfall of others. They created norms that dictated who was worthy of respect and who wasn't, turning a blind eye to the struggles that festered in the shadows. They dismissed my battles, my scars, as if they were nothing more than a trivial sideshow. But those battles forged me, tempered my spirit, and now I stand as a testament to their ignorance. In the depths of my loneliness, I learned to embrace the darkness. I became the observer, the silent witness to their folly. While they donned their masks with pride, I stripped away the layers of my own facade, revealing the raw, unfiltered truth beneath. I discovered that vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a wellspring of strength, a well of resilience that bubbles to the surface when the world tries to keep you down. Their masks were a fragile illusion, crumbling the moment the spotlight shifted. They thought their laughter was a fortress, but it was merely a house of cards, teetering on the edge of collapse. As I watched them fall, I felt a cold satisfaction. The very scorn they once wielded so carelessly had become the chains that bound them, dragging them into the depths of despair. The irony is delicious, isn't it? The laughter that once echoed in triumph now rings hollow, a ghost haunting the corridors of their regret. And what of their ignorance? It is a double-edged sword, slicing through the fabric of their lives, exposing the rot beneath. They thought they were untouchable, living in a world where their disdain could shield them from consequence. But the truth is relentless, creeping in like a shadow at dusk, revealing the cracks in their carefully constructed facades. They are left naked, stripped of their pretense, standing vulnerable before the very abyss they once mocked. Yet here I stand, a bearer of their past ridicule, transformed by the very darkness they scorned. I am no longer the jester, I am the architect of my own destiny, molded by the ashes of their laughter. I have learned that true strength is not found in a false sense of superiority but in the quiet resolve that emerges from the depths of despair. Their masks may have shielded them for a while, but I see through the charade. I see their fragility, their fear, the truth that lies just beneath the surface. In this twisted dance of power, I have become both the observer and the participant, reveling in the poetic justice that unfolds. Their laughter has faded into the ether, replaced by the chilling cries of their own making. Let them wear their masks, let them cling to their illusions. For in the end, it is I who knows the power of the darkness, the strength found in solitude, and the justice that lies in the passage of time. The masks will slip, and when they do, I will be here, a silent witness to their descent, a reminder that even the mightiest can fall, and that true power is born from the ashes of despair. In the echoing silence of this dimly lit chamber, where shadows dance like lost souls, I find myself reflecting on the cycle of power that twists and coils around us like a serpent ready to strike. Power, so intoxicating in its allure, is nothing more than an illusion, a fleeting shadow that flickers and fades away, leaving only emptiness in its wake. Those who once wielded it with such arrogance are now mere ghosts, haunting their own memories as they grapple with the consequences of their hubris. They thought themselves invincible, perched atop their thrones of scorn, ruling over the broken and the battered. But power, my dear audience, is a fickle mistress. It corrupts the heart and blinds the mind, leading its guests into a labyrinth of isolation where they are left to rot, surrounded by the very walls they built to protect themselves. Each laugh they shared, every mocking word, was a break in that fortress, a prison they created with their own hands. And I, the silent observer, have become the unexpected architect of their downfall. I stand not as a vengeful spirit but as a mirror reflecting their own despair. Their cries echo in the corridors of my mind, a haunting melody that underscores the irony of their plight. They once reveled in my struggles, mocking the very essence of my being, but now they cower beneath the weight of their own arrogance. The tables have turned, the power dynamics have shifted, and I am left with the chilling satisfaction of watching their empire crumble. Ah, the consequences of relentless pursuit. They chased dominance like moths to a flame, never realizing the burn that awaited them. In their thirst for superiority, they lost sight of the human connections that once anchored them to reality. They became isolated, trapped within their own delusions of grandeur, while I embraced the solitude they so feared. In that darkness, I discovered a strength they will never know, the kind forged in the fires of despair, tempered by the silence of loneliness. Isolation, while a heavy burden, can also be a sanctuary. It is in those quiet moments that the true self emerges, stripped of pretense and adorned with authenticity. I learned to dance with my demons, to embrace the shadows that lurked within. In solitude, I found clarity, a lens through which to view the world that had once cast me aside. While they were shackled by their need for validation, I wielded my loneliness like a sword, cutting through the fabric of their lies. As I observe their downfall, I am acutely aware of the fragility of the power they once held so tightly. Like a castle built on sand, it crumbles with the slightest shift in the tide. They thought themselves the masters of their fate, but the true master is time, a relentless force that balances the scales as it sees fit. Their disdain for the struggling has morphed into a bitter harvest, one they now must reap with trembling hands. I see their fear, palpable and raw, as they confront the abyss they once mocked. Their laughter, once a weapon, is now a haunting whisper of regret. They are trapped in a cycle they created, a relentless spiral of despair that mirrors the very scorn they once dished out so freely. And in that reflection, I find a chilling satisfaction, a sense of justice that transcends mere vengeance. So, let them realize the truth that I have known all along: power is an illusion, a transient spark that fades into the night. It is not in dominance that we find strength, but in the resilience to rise from the ashes of our struggles. I have learned to thrive in the darkness, to harness its energy and transform it into something beautiful, a deep understanding of the human experience, free from the chains of scorn. As they sit in their self-imposed exile, I invite you, dear audience, to confront your own complicity in this cycle. For we are all dancers in this macabre ballet of power and despair. The question remains, will you continue to cower behind your masks, or will you embrace the darkness and emerge stronger, wiser, and free? The choice is yours, but know this: once the masks slip, the truth will be laid bare, and the cycle of scorn will finally meet its reckoning. In the depths of this murky abyss, I find myself wandering through the corridors of memory, where echoes of laughter still linger like phantoms in the night. Each chuckle, each jeer, a reminder of the scorn that once rained down upon me, a cruel tempest that sought to drown my spirit. But now, as I stand in the ruins of their once mighty laughter, I see the cold shadows of regret creeping in, clawing at their throats, suffocating their cries for salvation. Do you remember those moments? The sneers, the jests that sliced through my flesh like a sharpened blade. They stood tall, their pride a high tower built on the bones of the broken. They feasted on my struggles, their laughter a banquet of cruelty, ignorant to the fact that the very foundation they built their superiority upon was as fragile as glass, waiting for the right moment to shatter. Oh, how the tides have turned. Their laughter, once a symphony of derision, now echoes hollowly as they confront the specters of their own hubris. Each instance of ridicule was a seed planted in the garden of my resilience. I remember their faces, twisted with arrogance, their eyes sparkling with delight as they watched me stumble. They were the architects of my pain, each mocking word a brick, each scornful glance a nail driven deep. But the irony, my dear audience, is that those bricks have become the tombstones of their own arrogance. I stand here, taller than ever, while they are bent beneath the weight of their own making. And what of their masks? Oh, the delicate facades they wore. Arrogance, pride, and ignorance, all woven together into a tapestry of deceit. They thought their masks would shield them from the truth, that their laughter would drown out the cries of the vulnerable. But every mask has its cracks, and as the darkness encroaches, those cracks widen, revealing the trembling hearts beneath. They are no longer the gods they fancied themselves to be, they are mere mortals, stripped bare, exposed to the elements of their own disdain. As I traverse this landscape of memories, I feel the weight of their past actions pressing down upon me, a burden transformed into power. Each taunt, each laugh, was a brushstroke on the canvas of my identity, shaping me into the figure I am today. I became the phoenix rising from the ashes of their contempt, while they now face the inferno of their own making. Their past has come back to haunt them, a relentless specter that refuses to be silenced. There is a chilling satisfaction in witnessing their descent. Like a predator savoring the moment before the kill, I watch as despair wraps its cold fingers around their throats. The laughter that once battered my soul now transforms into a symphony of suffering, a twisted melody that sings of poetic justice. They are caught in a snare of their own design, and I, the silent observer, relish the spectacle. I find strength in this darkness, a power that blooms in the soil of their despair. The satisfaction I feel is not born from vengeance but from a profound understanding of the human condition, a lesson learned in the crucible of mockery. I have transformed their scorn into a reservoir of resilience, a wellspring from which I draw my energy. They sought to drown me, yet here I stand, a testament to the strength that arises from the ashes of derision. So, let the ghosts of their past actions serve as a warning, a reminder that every laugh has its cost, every jest its consequence. The cycle of scorn is not easily broken, but in its unraveling lies the potential for redemption. I invite you to ponder this truth. In the shadows of their past, they now find themselves ensnared, their cries a haunting echo of their arrogance. And in this reckoning, I have found my purpose, my power, a dark and beautiful strength forged in the crucible of their scorn. In the stillness of this desolate theater, where shadows dance with the flickering light of a dying flame, I find myself at the precipice of reckoning. The air is thick with anticipation, a tension that crackles like electricity before a storm. The stage is set, and the players. Oh, how the roles have reversed. Once, they draped themselves in the cloak of superiority, but now, they stand exposed, their arrogance stripped away, leaving only the raw nerves of their despair. Confrontation, a word that echoes through the cavern of my mind, resonating with the weight of inevitability. It is the moment when the mask of indifference shatters, revealing the quivering humanity beneath. Their laughter, once a weapon aimed at my heart, now hangs in the air like a ghost, taunting them as they face the consequences of their actions. They believe themselves untouchable, but how quickly the tides of fortune can shift. I can almost hear their hollow words, the bravado that once flowed so freely from their lips. "You'll never amount to anything," they said, their voices dripping with disdain. But oh, how the universe has a way of balancing the scales. Those very words now curl around them like chains, dragging them into the abyss they so carelessly created. They are the architects of their own demise, and I, the reluctant harbinger of their reckoning. As I stand here, a silent observer, I feel the thrill of poetic justice coursing through my veins. They thought their laughter would drown out the cries of the broken, yet it is their own cries that now fill the void. Each sob, each whimper, a reminder of the anguish they inflicted upon others. The irony is delicious, intoxicating, a fine wine served in the chalice of their despair. What have they become? Shadows of their former selves, stumbling through the ruins of their shattered self-importance. They once prided themselves on their power, their ability to mock and belittle the weak. Yet when faced with the consequences of their arrogance, they crumble like brittle leaves in the autumn wind. Their laughter has turned to ash, and in its place, I hear the haunting wails of remorse. In this moment of confrontation, I embrace the chaos. My internal dialogue is a symphony of dark reflections, a chorus that sings of the fragility of power. For power, my friends, is a fleeting illusion, a mirage that dances just out of reach. They thought they could wield it like a sword, but instead, it has become a noose, tightening around their necks with every passing moment. I have witnessed the cost of their relentless pursuit of dominance, and the price is steep, an isolation that gnaws at the very core of their existence. I see their despair, and it fills me with a cold satisfaction. They are trapped in a cycle of their own making, a web spun from the very threads of their scorn. And yet, in their isolation, I find an unexpected strength. It is a strength forged in the fires of their contempt, a power that blooms in the darkness they created. I stand among the ashes of their laughter, a beacon of resilience, a testament to the fortitude that arises from the depths of suffering. And as I take my place on this stage, I feel the weight of their past actions pressing down upon me, a burden transformed into a weapon. I am not the villain they painted me to be, I am the reckoning they never saw coming. The universe has a way of balancing the scales, and in this moment, I am both the observer and the architect of their downfall. Let their cries be the anthem of their arrogance, a reminder that every jest has its consequence. I invite you to witness this tableau of poetic justice, to understand that in the shadows of their past, they now find themselves ensnared. It is a reckoning long overdue, a dark and beautiful strength rising from the ashes of their laughter. And as the curtain falls on this act of despair, remember, there is no escaping the consequences of scorn. The cycle of laughter and pain continues, and I stand ready to embrace whatever comes next. In the dim glow of this forsaken stage, the remnants of power linger like the echoes of a forgotten psalm. Power, such a seductive mistress, isn't she? She wraps her arms around the neck of the arrogant, whispering sweet nothings, promising dominion over the weak. Yet, oh, how quickly she turns to a cruel specter, leaving only shadows in her wake. The fleeting nature of authority is a lesson learned through bitter experience, a truth that gnaws at the very foundations of those who dare to wield it. It is a dance of delusion, the illusion of control. They pranced about, cloaked in their arrogance, believing they were the architects of fate. But power, like a paper tiger, is easily torn apart when the winds of change howl their dreadful tune. I watch them now, these once mighty figures, as they flounder in their own despair. The chains of their hubris bind them tighter with each passing moment, each desperate gasp a testament to their fragility. They stand on the precipice of their own making, teetering between past glories and present misery. They wore their power like a crown, but crowns are heavy, and soon enough, they become instruments of torture. What they never understood is that power is not a fortress, it is a fleeting shadow, a mirage that dances just beyond reach. They thought they could bask in its glow, but now they find themselves ensnared in its dark embrace. The irony is not lost on me. Here they are, pawns in a game they believe they controlled, and I, the reluctant player, revel in the bitter sweetness of their decline. Each sob that escapes their lips is a reminder of their arrogance, a haunting melody that sings of their downfall. I have seen the cost of their relentless pursuit. Oh, how it isolates, gnawing away at their very essence, leaving them hollowed out like burnt-out husks. In this theater of despair, I find a strange comfort. Their isolation has birthed a strength within me that they never anticipated. I have walked through the fires of their contempt, and I emerged not as a victim, but as a phoenix rising from the ashes of their scorn. They thought their laughter would drown out my suffering, but it is their own cries that now resonate in this empty space, a twisted symphony of poetic justice. They believed they could mock my struggles and stand tall, but the truth cuts deeper than any blade. It is a realization that haunts them now. Power, once thought to be a source of invincibility, is merely an illusion. I see it clearly, their arrogance has become their greatest weakness, a chink in their armor that exposes their vulnerability. They are the architects of their own demise, and I, the unwilling witness to their unraveling. As I survey this landscape of despair, I can't help but feel a cold satisfaction wash over me. The universe has a way of balancing the scales, and in this moment, they are receiving their due. Each tear they shed serves as a reminder of the pain they inflicted upon others. They thought they could rise above, but the weight of their past actions drags them down into the abyss they crafted with such careless glee. And so, I stand here, a figure cloaked in the shadows of their past. I embrace the darkness. This is where true strength resides. I am not just a spectator in this twisted tale, I am the embodiment of resilience forged in the fires of suffering. The cycle of power and isolation spins endlessly, yet I have found my place within it, a testament to the strength born from despair. In the end, what remains? A haunting solitude that envelopes them, a reminder that in their quest for dominance, they have lost not only their power but their very selves. They are left to confront the hollowness that lingers in the absence of respect, the void created by their disdain. Power is a fickle friend, and as they grasp for it in the darkness, they realize too late that it was always slipping through their fingers. Let this serve as a warning, a lesson carved in the annals of their downfall. In this theater of shadows, where the echoes of their laughter have faded into cries of anguish, I find my resolve. The fragile nature of their power is a mirror reflecting the truth they so desperately tried to hide. And in this reflection, I emerge unscathed, ready to embrace whatever comes next. The darkness is my ally, and in this darkness, I shall rise. In the cold embrace of solitude, I find a peculiar kind of clarity. It blankets the air like an oppressive fog, wrapping around me, cocooning my thoughts in a shroud of introspection. Solitude, often feared, is a tempestuous mistress that reveals the raw, unvarnished truth. It is here, in this quiet abyss, that the cacophony of the world fades away, leaving only the whispers of lost dreams and shattered laughter echoing through the empty holes of my mind. Loneliness, they say, is a heavy burden. But I have learned to dance with it, to let it cradle me in its icy grip. Within this stillness, I peel back the layers of my existence, exposing the tender wounds that have shaped me. Each scar tells a story, a tale of struggle, of mockery, of a fight against the tide that threatened to drown me. It is through this darkness that I have unearthed my strength, a resilience forged in the fires of neglect and disdain. Their disdainful laughter once echoed like thunder through my life, but now it is replaced by the quiet hum of my own heartbeat, a reminder that I endure. In solitude, I confront the shadows of their ridicule, the faces of those who once cast scorn upon my path. Each memory is a ghost that lingers, a reminder of the fragility of their power and the depths of my own resolve. They may have reveled in their superiority, but now, as I stand apart, I see the truth laid bare. Their laughter was a mask, concealing their own fears. What they do not understand is that in their pursuit of dominance, they have built a fortress of isolation, a prison of their own making. They thought their power would elevate them, but it has only served to alienate them from the very essence of humanity. I watch them, trapped within the walls of their arrogance, yearning for connection even as they push others away. It is a cruel irony that their quest for control has left them adrift, surrounded by the very emptiness they sought to escape. And so, I extend an invitation to the audience, to those who have laughed alongside them, to those who have turned a blind eye to the suffering of others. Reflect on your own complicity in this grand theater of despair. Have you stood silent while the powerful mocked the weak? Have you laughed at the struggles of those who dared to be different? Each chuckle, each snicker, adds to the weight of isolation that binds us all. In this moment of reflection, I urge you to confront the truths that lie buried beneath the surface. The very act of scorn creates a vicious cycle, feeding the darkness that surrounds us. It isolates the strong and the weak alike, forging bonds of despair that are difficult to break. But within that darkness lies the potential for transformation, a chance to rise, to evolve, to emerge from the depths of our own shadows. As I stand amid the ruins of their laughter, I find solace in the knowledge that I am not alone in my solitude. The strength that blooms from this darkness is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is an ember, flickering defiantly against the winds of despair. I am more than the sum of their scorn. I am the embodiment of all that has been lost and all that can still be found. In the end, the haunting solitude that envelopes them is a reminder of the cost of their arrogance. Their laughter has transformed into a symphony of regret, a lament for the connections they sacrificed on the altar of power. And as they grapple with their isolation, I stand firm, resolute in my understanding of the delicate balance between strength and vulnerability. Let this be a call to break the cycle, to shatter the masks we wear and embrace the darkness within. For it is in that darkness, when we confront our own fears, that we find the true essence of what it means to be alive. In solitude, we can reclaim our power, not the hollow power of dominance, but a profound strength born from empathy, understanding, and the courage to change. In this dance with darkness, let us rise together, forging a new path, not just for ourselves, but for those who will follow. Embrace the shadows of your own existence. If you believe that true strength arises from confronting darkness rather than fleeing from it, share this message. Reflect on a moment when you faced your fears and emerged stronger from the chaos. Leave a comment detailing your transformation, and subscribe for more raw and unfiltered revelations that challenge the status quo. Together, let us reclaim our power from the depths of solitude, forging a path where resilience reigns and justice waits patiently for its time to strike.